I am going to talk about recent USCIS adjudication trends and policy observations for EB1A petitions. Just to let everybody know that EB1 is not only for sportsmen, sports people. It's for everybody. That's why, like, my presentation is kind of drafted in a way that I can talk about any field, but I will customize my speaking for athletes, especially from Africa, especially those who are playing soccer, football. So I will customize my talk, but the slide is written for like pretty much everyone. And I'm also kind of talking about the recent trends. So alrighty. So the first thing you need to know about EB1A is there are 10 criteria, and you have to meet at least three criteria to be qualified to apply for EB1A. Now, many people tell me like, hey, if I just meet three criteria, should I apply? My advice is usually no. Please wait until you meet like a five criteria, because a lot of time, let's say, me being your attorney, if I write a petition and send to USCIS and say that, hey, my client, Mr. X, meets these three criteria, and sometimes USCIS officer will say, well, no, he or she doesn't meet this one or that one. Sometimes they have like a tendency to kind of deny one or two. So in case if they deny two, you will still have three. That's why I would like you to meet at least five criteria before you apply for EB1A. And trust me, it is not that hard. If you meet three, meeting additional two is just a matter of time. If you just spend some time, if you just focus on building your profile, it's way easier to meet two or three more if you already meet three. Those who do not meet any criteria at all, it's difficult. It's difficult to even meet three. But if you meet three, it's very easy to go for five or six. So I would highly recommend you to build your profile before you submit your application. Number one, and out of these 10 criteria, number one is nationally or internationally recognized prizes or awards. So even though it's one of the 10 criteria, but I tell my clients this one is literally the number one criteria. If you meet this one, trust me, three or four you will automatically meet. So it's very easy if you have a nationally or internationally recognized prizes or awards. Now you have to remember that it must be a competitive prize. Like there's a lot of honorary mentions, honorary awards. Let's say your university invited you to receive like an honorary award, that will not be recognized as a nationally or internationally recognized awards or prize. It must be a competitive. Let's say you played Nigerian national football tournament, right? Competition every year, and let's say you were recognized as the best goalkeeper or best striker or best midfielder or best coach or best manager, then you get it, because it's Nigeria's national tournament. Sometime there's an international tournament, like let's say African football tournament, and you were recognized as the best, the most scorer, or, best goalkeeper, best defense, something that will definitely meet this criteria. Even sometime regional competitions, let's say within the country of Nigeria, there's like a regional competition, but this is so popular, so prestigious that like if I tell you like in Europe, especially let's say in Germany, France, Italy, Spain, where football is literally very famous, even though let's say you are a player from Ghana or Nigeria or Somalia or any African country, you went to play a German regional league or French regional league, you still will qualify for international, because you move from one country to another country to play their regional tournament, but the regional tournament itself is very prestigious, so that will also qualify. So bottom line, if you play any international match and if you receive any kind of international award, recognized, most likely you're going to meet. But to learn more, so I tell my clients, like prospective clients, if you have any question, you can go to our website. It is www.rajula.com, rajula.com, and you can see that in the screen too. There is a button called EB1A evaluation. It's 100% free. Please click that button, answer all the questions, submit your documents. We will evaluate. And trust me, I am very strict about evaluation. So if I say you meet three, you literally meet three. If I say you meet five, you literally meet five. So submit your evaluation. We will evaluate. We'll get back to you, and it's 100% free. You don't have to pay anything for that. And I'll tell you like where to improve. Which, like let's say one criteria, two criteria you barely meet, like a very weak kind of meeting. I would highly recommend you to improve that thing, make it a strong criteria, and then you submit your application. So number one, as I said, nationally or internationally prize or award. Number two, membership in association in the field which demand outstanding achievements of their members. So let's say all the Nigerian football players who played international match. There is a club. The club is only for the Nigerian football players who played international match. So not anybody can be member of this club, this organization. The only player who played in international match, or anybody who has scored 10 goal or more in international matches are member of this club, kind of thing. So there's a lot of club like that. So try your best to member of association or club that requires outstanding achievements for the member. Not everybody can join this club that will meet this criteria. So it's not that hard. If you played international match, you'll probably meet one of those two clubs. Published material about you in professional or major trade publications. This is also comparatively easy to meet. If you ever played international match, if you did good in this game, definitely some local newspaper in your country, they are going to write about you. Some local TV channel, they probably published interview about you. Probably some YouTube channel. Nowadays, a lot of YouTube channel, they have millions of subscribers, like a lot of Facebook page. If they take your interview, that's also good. So this one is also comparatively easy to meet. If you meet, especially number one criteria, like a nationally or internationally recognized prize. If you ever receive a prize, definitely some media is going to take an interview of you. So you automatically meet these 2 3 criteria. Number four, you have been asked to judge the work of others. So a lot of time, what happens is, let's say you're a famous football player in, let's say, Nicaragua. I'm just giving an example. Or let's say you're a very football player in South Africa. Of course, some university competitions or some local competitions, they are going to invite you to be the judge, right? Judge of those small tournaments. A lot of time, like a famous football player, they're like, I don't have time. I don't have time to go for those small competitions to judge. But for EB1A, this is really good. This is going to help you. So if you denied those kind of invitation, now is your time to accept those kind of invitation. You can even tell your friends like, hey, if there's any competition where they need like a renowned football player to be as a judge, please let me know. I will join and I'll judge the work of others, like younger football players, like a high school football players, college football players, or regional, like a second division, third division kind of competition. You join there as a judge, then you will automatically meet this criteria. And again, it's not that hard to meet, right? I'm going to the next slide. So next one is original scientific, scholarly, artistic, athletic, or business related contribution of major significance. So this one is kind of like catch all. So anybody who did good, right? Anybody who is like, best professor, best football player, best athlete, best anything, you definitely have like original contribution. So this is very subjective, and when we write this criteria in our EB1 petition, we try to explain that what kind of contribution you have for this field and other things. So it's not also very hard to meet this criteria. It's kind of easy. Next one is kind of harder for soccer players, for athletes, but let me explain. Authorship of scholarly articles. Of course, most of the players, like football player and other people, you definitely do not write articles, right? That's not you want to do. But for EB1A, it is really helpful. So what I advise to my clients, try to find a friend or family member who studies, let's say, sociology or other kind of like a social welfare kind of subjects in your local university, and then you become a co-author. You as a good athlete, and let's say another guy who is like doing PhD or masters in a local university studying social welfare, let's say that the topic of the article is positive impact of sports on younger population, kind of thing. So you are just co-author. You do like a very little kind of contribution, the other guy does most of the contribution, and together you publish a scholarly article. So I know it's hard for soccer players, like football players, but it's not impossible. If you just try, you can easily meet this criteria too. A little harder, but possible. Next one, your work has been displayed at artistic exhibitions or showcases. So for football players, I would say you played a international match. If you ever played an international match, I can tell, yes, your work has been displayed or showcased in a major place, kind of like an international match, especially in South America, Brazil, Argentina. Let's say you went to Brazil or Argentina to play football over there, or you came to Europe or China. Recently, I see that a lot of Chinese clubs, they invite younger African and European football players to play in China. So if you ever played any game in China, you also meet this criteria. Your performance of a leading or critical role in distinguished organization. So this is another thing that most of the football players that do not do intentionally is like, of course, you're very busy playing football, making money. You don't have time to lead or critically play a critical role in an organization. But I highly recommend you, for EB1 purpose, you take initiative, right? Like you probably host a club or any kind of social activities, social awareness campaign, like, as I said, the impact of sports on younger population, like, elementary school kids, middle school kids, high school kids, college kids, how they can involve in sports and, build their good mental health, physical health, how that is going to change the entire society. So you can establish some non-profit organization, some NGOs that will help younger people to be engaged with sports. And if you form a non-profit organization, you can easily say that, hey, I played leading or critical role in this distinguished organization, helping younger population to be more involved with sports and games, so that they can have a better future, kind of thing. So that's also not hard. Not, but most of the sports people, they usually don't do it. But I highly recommend you to do that, so that you can easily meet this criteria. Next one, command a high salary. If you ever played an international match, I'm pretty sure you commanded a high salary. Many times, what happened is people from countries which is not very developed in terms of finances, they don't have proof. A lot of time they just receive cash. If you receive a cash amount, it's difficult to establish that in the eyes of the law. So what I recommend is try to keep track, keep document for all the payments. So it depends. If you ever played international match, I'm pretty sure you commanded a high salary. But if not, try your best to reach out to a good agency. There's a lot of agency, a lot of club. They pay good salary. Just reach out to them. You may meet this criteria too. And the last one, commercial success in the performing arts. So technically, sports is not a performing art, but in the context of sports, if you make a lot of money, you meet this criteria. So those are the 10 criteria. If you ever received a nationally or internationally recognized award, you automatically meet 3 or 4. I recommend you to meet like a few more, and then you can easily meet this criteria. Of course, it depends on how fast you want to come to America. I always recommend, like, being fast is not important. Being Submitting the right petition. Take your time, build your profile, and submit the right petition is very important for you. I'm going to the next slide. So I'm not going in a lot of talk about general trends, because it may not make sense to you. Those who already have took initiative, then sometime it may make. So I'm going to talk like a 2-3 minutes about these general trends, like recent trends, and then we'll go back to Shudiksha for a advertisement break. After that, you can ask me questions, me or Emmanuel, and we'll answer all of your questions. So, there's a lot of more applications nowadays. U.S. immigration is being global. People from all over the world, they are coming to America, especially in the sports industry, like football. American football is growing. It is getting popular day by day. A lot of football players from all over the world, they're coming to America. So there's a more application, meaning more approval, and at the same time, more denial. It's strict now. So try your best to take initiative as soon as possible. Also, USCIS, they integrated AI. So what they do, anytime we submit a petition, first they check with AI, and if there is any false information, false document, or fabricated document, they easily detect it, because human screening is not that strict, but AI screening is literally very strict. So my recommendation to all my current and prospective clients, please do not submit any fake document, any fake information. AI is going to detect that. Me as an attorney, this is my responsibility to detect, but me as a human being, I may have some limitations. I may overlook something, but AI is not going to overlook. So please submit all the authentic evidence and information, so that your application will not be denied even before adjudication. Next one, USCIS has adopted a more stringent and narrowly defined approach in evaluating evidence for each criteria. So they are very strict now. So I highly recommend you to pay attention to all those detail, not just submit your application without taking proper steps. RFEs issued are highly specific, targeting evidentiary deficiencies and requesting precise documentation in response. Previously, like I would say 2 years ago, a lot of RFEs are like very vague, doesn't make any sense, sounds like they even did not read the RFE. But nowadays, it's very specific, very precise. They are looking for very specific documents. So please try to submit a specific document in the first time. Don't wait for the RFE. Broad or general assertion are no longer sufficient. Every claim must be substantiated with specific, verifiable, and directly relevant documentation. Without documentation, nothing exists in legal world. We cannot talk anything without proof. So documentation is really important. National or international awards. So after this slide, I'm going back to Shudiksha. So there's some policy changes in October 2024. Previously, only nationally or internationally recognized solo awards were deemed sufficient. Under the revised guidance, team awards will now be considered valid, provided that each team member received individual recognition, for example, certificate, trophy, or medal. So all it matters is, like, even before October 2024, let's say you played African Cup of Nations, right? And your team won the championship award. Like, you as the member of the team, you did not receive the best goalkeeper or best scorer or best defender award. You were just the member of the champion team. Before October 2024, they would not recognize that for EB1A. Now they recognize it. You were just member of the 11-member team or 14-member team who received the African Cup of Nations award, so you are qualified for EB1A. However, you must receive a certificate or trophy or medal for that. So if the competition you won, like as a champion, if they did not give any of this, please reach out to them and say, hey, I understand that you just give us a big cup. We're very happy about that, but we need individual certificate, a small trophy or a medal as a proof of this achievement, so that we can get some American immigration benefit.